So, you see, I'm not being allowed to use my medical insurance. It's like the doctors are attacking me. Oh, that's right, they did attack me at the hospital. How am I supposed to not know the names of the people in my room? I'm like, when you ask someone to leave your medical room and they don't, that's a red flag for me. So I had two girls walk into my room and attack me at Homer Hospital. I tried to report it to security. They chased me out of the building. Wouldn't give me the names of the two girls who were just in my at my room at the hospital where, they discharged me after wiping some kind of strange substance. As you can see right here on my nose, how it ate through my nose right there. And of course, over here. But they started at the top of my head and they started wiping and then like wiping on my neck and then my nose. They came down my nose. But there was one on each side, see? So there was one on this side of the bed that wiped there, and then another girl, and I touched my nose, and my nose was wet. And they were continuing to wipe this wet fluid down my body, lifting up my sheets, and they had to check my feet or something before my discharge. So they're like wiping liquid on my feet, and like, okay, you can go. And I went up to security. I was like, hey, who were those two girls that were just in my room? Can I get their names, please? Because they just attacked me. Oh, and no one wanted to make the report. So they verbally threatened me that if I didn't immediately leave, so I immediately left. I was discharged, thank God. They were killing me there with some kind of strange IV I didn't want. I wanted like penicillin, an antibiotic, not some kind of thing that was going to cause pain in my arm and my shoulder for the next few months or perhaps years of my life. So, just because I disagree with their policies on COVID and such, and I think they should be providing me with the ability to use my insurance on whatever kind of safe and effective treatments I can get my hands on to treat this infection that was stabbed into me. And they stabbed me in the face with needles and injected me with dirty needles. And it wasn't just my face. And then I find that they're doing it at the hospital here for sure. I mean, I literally left Homer with the understanding that these doctors were not helping me, and that there were people coming to me that were going to these doctors saying that they were having coming into contact with something. The doctors were. And then I'm up there and I have it happen to me. And I try to report it to the police. What are they going to do? Oh, they're going to block me up in the hospital with these bioterrorists. Anyways, I don't agree with their policy. I think they should be doing things differently, and I don't get any access to any kind of health care. You understand me? I have to do my own health care, because when I go and try to get health care, I get attacked. Seriously, like they tried to kill me. And when I say, hey, there's been another attempt on my life, nobody seems to want to make a report. They don't care. Good luck. They just pushed over my 70-year-old friend, and we tried to make a report. I didn't have eyes in the situation because I can't be everywhere at once. They didn't make a report, at least not a proper one. I'm pretty sure they made very little of a report about, an old lady whose mom might have to go and get, medical treatments because she got pushed down and her back is now bothering her. She already had trouble walking. She's 70. Okay, and the police didn't do anything. Here in Homer, you spend a lot of money in Homer for police to just completely do the opposite of what they're supposed to do. Literally, drive up on the sidewalk from the Sterling Highway and behind someone who's taking pictures. When you're taking pictures, sometimes you back up to get a bigger view. And if I had been doing that, I would have backed in right into oncoming traffic that was coming on a police officer who was pulling up behind me. Am I supposed to report this? Is this supposed to go to internal affairs? I could really use some advice because I have the police and the doctors here attacking me. And, maybe it's because I don't agree with their COVID policies. I don't know. I don't know what they got against me or anybody else. It seems like they've been doing this way longer before COVID. So it's just something that they do. But I am getting my money stolen right out of my pocket by these people. And they are refusing services. I don't see any reason why. They've literally told me the reason why I can't have antibiotics. They've stopped arguing with me over the efficacy, whatever you want to call it, of taking antibiotics, a low dose, concurrent, regularly. And they said literally, we can't give you the medicine, and they keep doing this too, by the way, with not just this medicine, because we don't have enough for everyone. And when you're looking for pain pills and they have enough fentanyl to kill everyone in the country, you have enough pain medicine to treat people who are in chronic pain like me, but you refuse to do your job. They're not practicing medicine. They're making a farce out of medicine, completely destroying their entire industry and taking down the entire country and the banking system now, as I can pretty much say, without looking like a complete fool, along with it. And nobody does nothing. You pay people to do nothing about it. How about you pay people to do something about it? Because I can't do it. I've spent all my money on trying to do medicine in an environment that is controlled by a monopoly that refuses to work with you on any level. Okay? Not on pain meds, not on antibiotics, anything that they have. I could use a Flexerol because I have chronic torticollosis in my neck. Where you usually get that, I think, right? I'm not a doctor, okay? But I've literally had to diagnose my own conditions because the doctors are full of BS. They have no real medical knowledge. The Common Core education system and our colleges are charging too much money for the lack of real information they're providing. The technology is obsolete. They keep on pushing out these new drugs like the old ones didn't work, and then the new ones don't work, and you can't get the old ones because all you can get is the new ones. What? And they'll only give you this prescription for this brand because that's their company, and they won't give you the generic or the real stuff. The real stuff. How about the real stuff? How about you take my money and actually provide a service instead of just stealing money out of my pocket and pretending like you're what you say you are, and you're not. You're in fact a criminal, masquerading as a high-ranking person, doctor, high-ranking person in society. We got bankers, grocery store people, we got mechanics, we got mayors. Doctors are pretty high up on society. Be faking that you're a doctor, have all the credentials and everything, and just not know how to doctor. That's really interesting to me, how they get away with this. Who's running these things? I've gone to the personnel departments, and it's literally like haggard old ladies that are senile, that are in charge of the employment of these hospitals all up and down the West Coast. They don't know what they're doing. They're hurting people. They should pretty much get sued. Every time you go to the hospital, you should sue them. They should be run up with legal charges instead of medical charges. There should all be legal charges. They should be fine with what they're doing, and they should help people. They should be providing antibiotics. If you go to the doctor and you want antibiotics, you shouldn't be told that, oh, we don't have enough supply of antibiotics to give to everyone, so we're not going to give you any antibiotics. I've heard every excuse in the book, from just straight up lies to propaganda to, oh, it's a virus. They're literally like rewriting the book on health. You notice we have to recently, because of new information, rewrite the book on geology. Guess what? The same thing's happening in the medical field, but they're not catching on. You see, there's always those people who, oh yeah, well, we never really figured out how that worked, but now that we have an idea, it's like we're not gonna we're not gonna add that information to what we already have written down because it conflicts. And then you have this huge confirmation bias. This they call it something where you have two conflicting thoughts in your head, and they keep accusing me of this. I'm not conflicted. Your COVID is a lie. Okay, it's not novel. You made them make up a name for it, and it's literally underneath the name of something that already existed. It's not new. It never was novel. You tried to say it was novel. You tried to lie to us and tell us that it was novel and then lie to us and say, is this? And then you gave us bad vaccines because that was the whole point. You see, you're a snake oil salesman trying to sell your vaccines. So you literally, problem, reaction, solution, came up with a problem. Oh no, there's a global COVID unawareness. You should be aware that everybody got to go under lockdown. And then, oh, the only way out of it is if we save you with selling all this. And we're just going to use your government to do it. You don't even have a choice. It's going to be free to anybody who wants a bad vaccine. And then as people get sick from the vaccine, they have problem, reaction, solution again. Oh, we said there was a pandemic. Now look, everyone's getting sick. Look at how smart we are. We told you that there was this pandemic, and then it got really bad. Look at that. Right after we put out the vaccines. That's just a coincidence, by the way, because this COVID thing, that was real. That was real. It really killed people. The flu really never infected anybody during COVID. Not noticeable by the doctors. They're all liars. Do you understand? Like, they're culpable because they're in the institution and they're working along with these people that are, even if they did everything perfect, they're working with the medical big pharma people. They have no other choice if you're working in the field. And you went along with the COVID propaganda, the pre-made pandemic, and you had to lie and kill and maim and torture Americans to make your money from the vaccine. Where is it? Where did all the money go? Because every ounce of money that all the city halls and the state legislatures, oh, and the federal people spent on this medical institution, not just on COVID, on anything. We should have a separation between medical and government. You understand that? Like church and state. It's like you don't want your Walmart and your McDonald's, doing the same. But you want people focusing on McDonald's doing the McDonald's stuff, and you want people focused on the Walmart doing the Walmart stuff, pizza doing the Pizza Hut doing the Pizza Hut stuff. You don't want them, doing other things that they don't know how to do. And it doesn't seem like anybody knows how to do anything because you just got taken so hard. They stole all your money. They made you lock in your house. They took away your ability to say goodbye to your dying loved ones. How much more insult are you going to take, America? Because they've already stolen my money, assaulted me, tried to kill me over and over, probably succeeded somewhere along the way. The wounds that I've received from lack of treatment, they admit it. Do you understand? With COVID going along, they can't do their normal procedures. So they've been ignoring giving people penicillin, ignoring giving people pain meds, not being there for the people who have needed help for, you know, getting these pre-diagnoses, for example. It's everything. You can't leave anything out. It's everything. They've had to put on the back burner because COVID was right up front in your face. So there's no way they can admit, they can deny, they can say anything about the fact that they have not been able to do the treatments that they were supposed to be doing for the past 2 years. Treatments that people like me needed, from getting assaulted with bioweapons and herpes on the streets of Seattle, getting stabbed with dirty needles as we walked down the street to try to go buy some McDonald's. We needed some help from the doctors. I have medical records to prove I tried to get some help. I tried to document what happened to me, and they refused to do anything real. They faked the whole thing. My treatment, my diagnoses, any kind of interactions I was having with the doctors during the past 2 years trying to deal with this skin condition I got in Seattle from my girlfriend and other people, since it seems to be spreading all over Seattle and everywhere else, no, unchecked, with nobody doing anything about it. CDC doing something about it, I'm sure, making it spread. They need to get antibiotics out there. I told them they started doing it in Anchorage, just handing antibiotics out to the people on the street and homeless. Just hand, without a clue. You come in, you want antibiotics? Here, take some antibiotics. Prophylactically, things are going to get rough on the streets. They should be doing that for everybody. And it's true. It's true. They don't give you the medicines that you need. They give you these fake vaccines when you're a kid that do nothing. Nothing. And then, you know, when you go and take your dogs to get dewormed and your cats to get dewormed, and you get treatments you see for your horses and stuff, and you don't think that you need, or your own children don't need that. We treat our pets, get better health care than we do. And the pets don't have to ask. It's just, given to them. A lot of it's really good. The treatment we do for animals, because it hasn't been corrupted by the medical system that has denied medical care to human beings, denied us antibiotics to save our teeth, denied us, pain medicine so that we could actually move around without being in excruciating pain constantly from being attacked and brutally raped as a child when no one believes you that it actually happened. They left me in a world of pain, and it doesn't end, buddy. You got stab wounds, you got nerve damage, you got tissue damage for the rest of your life after these doctors fuck you up. And they will not treat your pain. There's no way to diagnose it. So how do they don't have to treat it. Get it? They'll literally play it off like it's a figment of your imagination and allow you to lie there suffering in horrible pain and be like, it's just in your head. Yeah, right. These people are so full of shit. And they've taken advantage of you and your kids. Talking to every single American, not just the people in Homer, Alaska, who should be more awake. You're so, liberal and whatnot. You let these people get away with murder. The cops are literally murdering people in Anchorage. I got 2 of them. I've been screaming bloody murder because they tried to frame me for murder. The cops tried to frame me for the murder of Michelle Felber. They closed the case because they couldn't get me. They had no way to cover it up because they were going to use me. So it's just a closed case of some girl who died somewhere accidentally in the middle of Anchorage. In the prime of her health. Nothing wrong with her. Nobody even asked me, even though I have video of her. I spent time with her months and months before she died. And nobody even asked me if I knew anything about her death. These are your cops. They see a death and they make up stuff. It's all made up. All those bad people in jail you think have murdered so many people, have literally been set up. Okay? All the good people in jail, and the criminals, guess what? The criminals, they're still out on the streets. They're still in the hospital. They're still wearing a uniform. All the evil, satanic, criminal elements are right there in your police force, in your city hall, in your medical establishments. And when they find good people like me, they frame them and they put them in jail and they murder. You see how people get murdered in jail? You know, somebody didn't kill himself, right? If you've heard the meme, maybe you've been paying attention to what's been going on, all the adrenochroming. Do you understand the doctors are the ones responsible for all the adrenochroming of all the children? Go and buy some adrenochrome somewhere. See how available it is. Guess where they get it from? They get it from the brains of children that they milk to death. Go tell me it doesn't exist, because they did it to me. Don't tell me that that the doctors aren't the ones siphoning this biofluid from the inside of your brains of children, and it kills them. And they lose the bloodstream. They drain out all the blood, and then they can refine the neurotransmitters from the blood. Okay? And then you take a concoction, or you just drink the blood like the Satanists do, and you get all the drugs. You see, they're drug addicts. They think it's Satan. It's just cocaine. It's nothing special. It's not a spiritual experience. By drinking the blood, they think they're getting closer to God. It's their religion. Believe it. This is what your doctors are doing. Why don't you ask them if they know what adrenochroming is? Has anybody asked their doctor if the doctor knows what the process of adrenochroming is? How do you get this magical mixture they call adrenochrome? Where does that come from? And they'll say, oh, whatever, old people or fetuses or, people who, subject themselves to medical experimentation or something. Where do they get it from? And they'll point out everything except for the children that they're murdering to get the adrenochrome, because they like it from the young children. The blood is much fresher. They like it warm, fresh from the vein, like a vampire. They're literally Satanists. They're literally denying people basic medications like penicillin so that they can take care of themselves, so they don't die from the flu. They're being denied treatments for COVID. Like, dare I say it? What's it called? Oxychloroquine. Whatever it's called. I've never seen it, so I don't even know if it exists. It's supposed to come from India. And I've noticed that all the medications that I've been needing, they only come from India too. Has anybody noticed what's happening? Why does India seem to be the only place to get any decent medical supplies? Do your doctors notice this? Do the doctors know where the adrenochrome is coming from? Do they know where to get what country in the world sells the most medical supplies? You ask around. They'll tell you. Literally take spiritual trips to go to India so that they can firsthand, it's literally in that movie by Marvel with Dr. What's his name? They do that. And he was a doctor. He broke his hands. He had to get it all fixed up. He went to India. It's a common theme because there's something going on here in America that is not allowing the production of some very simple cream rinse, a antibiotic cream rinse, okay? That they consider these antibiotics pesticides, but it's a very small dose. It's like the fluoride in the water. It kills off some bad stuff, so you don't have to worry about giardia as much, and it's not gonna hurt you. Really, it's not. You boil it, the fluoride, the chlorine comes right out. Did you know that? You should always boil your water. Why doesn't your doctor tell you these things? Do they know? I don't think they know. I think they're in the business for the money, and that's the only reason. And they're not practicing anything medical. They're practicing business and scamming, stealing your money. They're practicing theft at all your medical institutions. They're not practicing medicine. And they've stopped anybody else from doing it. I can't get my own antibiotics and start selling them to people, even if it was the right thing to do. Is it? You don't know. You can't say either way. You don't know. You don't have enough information. These doctors, they ask them. I've just given you more information than they know. Do they know? Ask your doctor if they know about the adrenochroming. Maybe if they're honest, they'll tell you, yes, they know about the adrenochroming. And who are the people who have the expertise to achieve the attainment of adrenochrome? Yeah, it's the doctors that do that. Okay? And they take innocent little children, many times from other countries, that don't have a social security number, so there's no way to trace them. I've known of somebody in Romania that was brought over here illegally, and now they say it's perfectly legal for her to be here, as she stabs people in the back with her herpes contagion. All over Seattle. She's not the only one. You don't want to go to these places. You don't want to be living here. I see these people partying in the streets, and I'm like, they look like normal, awesome, everyday people going to their Seahawk, football shows. They're completely oblivious to what's happening. They don't know. And when they don't know, and I come in, I got all these real problems that you don't recognize. Well, you're no help to me, medical community. You're no help to me, City Hall. You're no help to me, police officer. You're no help to me, federal government. In fact, you're attacking me. Why are you attacking your own people? Obviously, I may not be an American. There's Americans that are saying that, they're doing these things for Americans. Well, I don't see it. It's not being done for me. In fact, I'm being executed slowly and painfully by the medical community, by your police officers who like to lock me up and think that I don't need to spend time every day trying to clean myself, locking me up in facilities that have been abused and never really washed properly. These people don't know how to wash. Their city is full of bird poop. And you wonder why we have COVID. One of the first things they might have thought of to stop the COVID spread was to, wash the streets so you don't pick it up on your feet. If there's so many roads that it's not cost effective. And so when you have places that are under a bridge with lights in a parking lot, you end up with piles of bird feces just for months at a time leaking into the drainage systems and stuff. It's gross. Do they know what they're doing? Do they know the kind of filth they're living in? Because it doesn't freeze. I'm used to an environment that freezes antiseptically every year, once a year. And that doesn't happen in Seattle. You're continuing to destroy your environment. You don't get the reset like we do in Alaska and the lower 48. In these cities where they control the environment and gets above freezing, there's steam running through the ground. They're messed up the human cycle, and they are just growing bacteria in the streets. And there's not enough awareness going on to clean up shit in the street, let alone actually, effectively practicing a science that might be a little complicated at times. These people need to be dealt with appropriately. If you don't see it, you're one of them.